We have another winner of our Valentine's Day giveaway. Janae is in the Facebook corner. Who is it?
Yes, we do. Gabe Hicks and his beautiful lady, Dynasty. They're our
Gabe
winners.
Hicks, oh my goodness. And we have pictures of Gabe and Dynasty. Woo! You know what? I have lived in this town too long. I know Gabe Hicks.
Do you really?
I did not pick these pictures. I want you guys to know that we had a team picking them. I guess I know everybody in town. He's a really cool guy.
Is he really?
Yeah, really cool guy.
He took 5 of the most beautiful pictures of him and his spouse. I thought they were absolutely beautiful.
I see him at church sometimes.
Oh, wow.
All hugged up, yeah. Thanks, Janae. We have another chance to win coming up, and so we want you to send in your pictures. You still have a chance to be in the drawing. You know, one of the most popular New Year's resolution is to lose some weight, to get in shape, and we're working on it. We're about to talk to 2 people who know a lot about that. They are the newest trainers for NBC's The Biggest Loser. It's Brett and Kara, and thank you so much for joining us. I talked with them earlier. Getting in shape is not just about the body, but it's also about the mind too, isn't it?
For me, it is about getting in their minds and making them realize that their life is worth it. A lot of them have families and people that are very important to them. So, you know, there's just different ways to kind of push people to realize that their life is really important. And if they don't get their health together, start exercising, start dieting and losing weight, that they're really just putting themselves at risk for serious health problems.
You're looking at a cast of people. Do you train them individually or do you train them as a group?
I think it's a two-pronged approach. I think you do take a global approach on a lot of the group as far as the fitness part of it, but when it comes to losing the emotional weight, Kara and I talked about this a lot, losing the physical weight on the ranch is the easy part, but losing the emotional weight, that's the tough part. And that is a very individual thing, and you have to take a look at each person, and they evolve over the show. Maybe one episode they haven't had a breakthrough, and then you'll see them, Ken and Austin, talking to each other on the scale, and then something pops up and you see it and you know when to go in. And it's interesting for us because it's constantly evolving how to approach each person.
Brett, I imagine that a lot of your viewers don't know you have a double major. You were in college, you studied pre-med, and you studied psychology. I imagine that gives you a double whammy when it comes to helping them.
My pre-med background was, well, I'll put it this way, I was trying to do psych econ in the beginning, didn't do too well. My dad's like, you gotta get your grades up, you gotta study something that you really like. He's a professor of neuropsychology at Princeton for a long time. I've been around that and I switched my major and really started to enjoy it. But I think for me, it started with my own weight loss journey, to be honest. As a 7th grader, 8th grader, 9th grader, I was overweight. I've kind of said this before, I was the fat kid that didn't know he was fat, but going through that experience had gotten me into a different mindset and how to approach each of these contestants because I've gone through a lot of the weight loss battles that they have.
Now, you said something I have to ask. A fat kid who didn't know he was fat, how could that be? That's
a great question. Well, I was thin as I was growing up, and then when I hit about 7th grade, I gained a lot of weight, and I always had an athletic prowess and was very good as an athlete, and then I had to stop doing athletics because of my weight gain, but I never gave up. So when I would go on the wrestling mat as a 7th grader or 8th grader and I would pin someone stronger than me or bigger than me, or we'd get in a race and they'd always say, oh, the fat kid's not going to be able to beat me in the race, and I would come in first. All the kids were not used to seeing someone overweight not give up or have confidence. They're like, how does that happen? Usually they don't have confidence, they don't have this. And it was because I didn't grow up thinking that. I was a thinner kid and good at sports and always kept that mindset. And that's something that I've had to say to a lot of particularly the younger contestants, Austin and Kaylee, that are on the show, that have not had this background and have not developed the confidence. Losing the weight's the easy part. They went home for parts of it and started gaining the weight back, and I said, you guys have got to have the confidence and the worthiness, the self-worth to do this. And that comes, if you don't have it from growing up, you have to get it here at the ranch. And that's been, I think, part of Kara and I's struggle and approach is how do we get the confidence and worthiness for each of these contestants.
Kara, got to ask you this. You're such a petite woman, beautiful. You look like you might even be fragile, but you're a champion boxer.
It's inside. I never, for me, I just, you know, it just never came in. Everyone's like, you're not a boxer. Because people judge me from the way I look and just assume that I wouldn't know how to fight, and that just makes me want to fight harder and prove myself more, because I have had a lot of struggles as a female boxer. Number one, it's a stereotype that pretty girls can't fight, and it was just something I always had to, I just had to prove myself even more and work harder. So actually it worked out for me in the end, because it just made me fight that much harder.
You kind of went there a little bit. Tell me, what did you learn as a boxer that helps you to be this champion weight loss expert?
Everything that I learned as a boxer has come in extremely useful in getting in the minds of the contestants and being able to push them harder, to fight for their lives, to really just never give up. If they get knocked down, to get back up. And I feel like they kind of know that I understand their struggle, because being in The Biggest Loser and competing is similar to, in my mind, competing for a fight. So, you know, they're here, it's do or die, they're fighting for their lives. In the ring, I was fighting someone that was trying to knock me out. So it's just very similar. It's a lot of mental pressure, and it's just about overcoming pressure and pushing yourself as hard as you can. So that's something I really, really emphasize with training when I'm with the contestants.
That's as close as I'm getting to a Valentine's, but I love you, Big Ol' Bear. Go with me, okay? Brett and Kara, thank you so much for being with us. We're going to be watching the contestants as they progress Tuesday nights at 8, 7 Central Time, right here on NBC 38. And speaking of the NBC lineup, there's a drama that will, a little dramatic comedy with Chuck. Have you seen that? It's really funny. The Cape's coming up, and Kathy Bates, she's a nut on Harry's Law. And we have some great music right after the break from Andy Luker on the Dee Armstrong Show, so don't go away.